concept of data centers, and one of the things that always kind of feels like it rings true to me is, born and raised here in the city, I don't feel that I would ever lead the city down a path that would jeopardize the city's future. We've done a lot of due diligence on data centers. We went out to Virginia. I wanted to touch them, feel them, look at them. I wanted to talk to the locals. I wanted to understand them on a micro level, on a macro level. And so spending a lot of time in Virginia, talking to folks here, outside of maybe some the looks of the building, they're buildings that don't produce truck traffic. They're great assessed value growth. And I go back and try to understand, what the impacts are for our city financially, and how it could benefit us positively with all the recent legislation changes. All those things factor into it. And when you get to know data centers and you get outside and you find the facts, I think you start to really realize what benefit they could be for a community, as opposed to all the negatives that we hear every day about these data centers. And I'll go back and say that we can't live our lives without data centers. They're here to stay. And so how do we get them to play within our rules, make it better for our community? Do research on them. Go visit them. Go touch them, feel them like we did. And I think your opinion will be changed. There are people that just don't want things built in their backyard, and sympathy for them, I understand it. But at the end of the day, we have to grow as a community. And I think I'm willing to have conversations with anyone, get them to understand these data centers and get them on a different level than just the one topic that they get onto, whether it be water, power, aesthetics. And when we really peel back the layers of the onion, I think that these are a great benefit for our community.
That is Hobart Mayor Josh Huddleston talking about the data center that seems to be coming to the region. The reason that is important to do this topic is because NIPSCO is actually looking to establish a spinoff company called GenCo, which will help build capacity for data centers and other large users. So I think a lot of us have seen the precipitous rise in NIPSCO rates over the last year or two, and it's been going like, what's going on here? Well, I think we're starting to see what's up now. Now, NIPSCO, that is based in Maryville, they filed a petition with the IURC, or the Indiana Utility Regulatory Commission, to create this GenCo subsidiary to add more capacity for data centers, which are supposedly be coming here to Northwest Indiana in the near future. GenCo, which is short for NIPSCO Generation LLC, this is not for retail customers the way NIPSCO does. Instead, it would enter into contracts to provide more electric capacity to NIPSCO so it can serve large load customers like data centers. They are working on a framework to accommodate these mega load customers. The utility is saying that it's looking to create a subsidiary that will finance, develop, build, and operate new electric capacity that comes along with the power to power these new data centers. The utility said it is looking to protect its customers from the risk that comes with building a significant amount of new electric generation at a much faster pace than normal. The U.S. Department of Energy has estimated that data centers have gone from accounting for 4.4% of power use in 2023, just 2 years ago, to 12% in 2028. And a single data center consumes as much as 50 times more power than a comparable commercial building. So that is where we're at right now. They are trying to find a way to generate the capacity for these huge load entities. So you heard Mayor Huddleston in that video say, look around the country. Well, that's what I've done. I've looked around the country. And we can go right to Memphis. The NAACP are suing Elon Musk. Yes, that Elon Musk. The NAACP and an environmental group are saying that they intend to sue Elon Musk's artificial intelligence company XAI over concerns about air pollution generated by a supercomputer facility located near predominantly black communities in Memphis. The XAI data center began operating last year, powered in part by pollution emitting gas turbines. Musk's AI has said that the turbines will be equipped with technology to reduce emissions and that it is already boosting the city's economy by investing billions of dollars in a supercomputer facility. So this is what they always say. This is going to bring billions of dollars into the community. There's going to be a bunch of jobs. Everybody's going to be living like the Jetsons. That's what they always promise. We're all going to be living like the Jetsons. We're going to pay millions in local taxes, create hundreds of jobs. Meanwhile, Elon's main business, Tesla, doesn't pay taxes a lot of times at all. The company is also spending $35 billion to build a power substation and $80 million to build a water recycling plant to support the Memphis Light, Gas, and Water local utility. Now, the people of Memphis are saying that this supercomputer data center is stressing out the power grid. They are saying that the turbines are emitting smog and carbon dioxide and are creating pollutants that cause lung irritation, such as nitrogen oxides and the carcinogen formaldehyde. Okay? Now, again, I have to remind you guys, we live in one of the cancer alleys of America, here in Northwest Indiana. And yes, we do need business. That is a fact. I'm not one of these people who say we got to say no to everything. It is absolutely true that we do need businesses, but we also can't all die of cancer either. Everybody. Like, we can't completely walk around and, I'm right across the street from U.S. Steel as it is. Okay. We've already become very much, I don't want to say a dump, but we are in urban pollution area. I mean, we're a high pollution area and always have been. I did the story a few months ago, I think, from Capital B Gary, where they talked about the horrific pollution that we are breathing in each day here in the city of Gary and East Chicago and Northwest Indiana, thanks to all these plants and stuff, and the amounts of cancers and illnesses that are being caused by it. So we definitely have to, again, we have to do our due diligence and hold these people accountable. Mayor Huddleston saying that everything's going to be sunshine and rainbows. If it's not, then y'all got to get rid of this dude, period. Now, if he brings the data center here and everything's sunshine and rainbows, there's no extra pollution and, everything is kosher, okay, fine. But if he's full of crap and he's bringing something here that, or at least supporting something here that is disturbing the lives of the people here in Northwest Indiana, this guy got to go. And you got to hold these people accountable when they make all these grand promises. Oh my God, it's going to be sunshine and rainbows. We're all going to live like the Jetsons, and then it doesn't pan out. So again, you got to hold them accountable. Also looked at Atlanta and Georgia. There's a huge boom in data centers in Georgia. The supercomputing data centers, the warehouse-sized facilities. These data centers use upwards of 200 million gallons, annually. So that's a lot of water. That's the equivalent of close to 2,000 homes, according to the EPA. And so we definitely, again, we have to be careful and hold these people's foot to the fire when they make all these promises and make sure that they know what they're doing. Let me get this caller. Hello, caller. What's up?
Yeah, one more quick thing about what you were actually mentioning.
1 minute.
We got industrial pollution. If you have a diet that consistently high in industrial pollutants and toxins and things that actually cause, insulin resistance, that causes autoimmune diseases, and it causes molecular issues with your DNA. That's where all these mega diseases are amplified by the pollution. So if we weren't fed a diet of corn and the stuff you fat cattle with, that's amplified with medication, we might be a little bit healthier too.
Right. Right. Thank you for your call, brother. I agree with Vic there. Like I said, there's you don't get nothing for free. Okay. Again, all the sunshine and rainbows talk, all the everything's going to be great talk is nice, but we have to again be aware that there are consequences to these data centers. I had to go all the way over to England, not literally, but I had to find this article in England about the effects, the economic effects that these data centers are going to bringing here to the United States in this country, and are going to bring to us in the near future. This article from the Daily Mail talks about how electric companies are plotting a 142% bill hike despite increasing risks of blackouts. Major electricity companies are plotting a 142% bill increase for individual companies to pass on the cost of energy-guzzling data centers. The booming demand for data centers is being driven by the relentless rise of AI in every area of life. Power providers have asked regulators to approve $29 billion in rate increases in the first half of the year, just like NIPSCO got here. And I think there's another one that kicks in September. The figure marks a 142% rise on the hikes seen in the same period last year, according to a new report. It comes as President Donald Trump's energy secretary is warning that the demand of data centers could inflict 800 hours of energy blackouts per year by 2030. So we might have to get used to blackouts as a way of life so that we can sustain these data centers. And remember, in the big beautiful bill that just was passed, they made it illegal to regulate AI in any way. So not only are these AI bots going to take over our lives, possibly put most of us out of jobs and completely throw our economies into chaos, and they're saying that we have to do this to compete with China. They're telling us that astronomical electricity bills and blackouts are going to become a way of life in the near future. So our Secretary Chris Wright is saying in the coming years, America's reindustrialization and the AI race, the artificial intelligence race, will require a significantly larger supply of around-the-clock, reliable, and uninterrupted power. Okay? Among those set to hike prices is the National Grid, which serves customers in New York and Massachusetts. The company was given the green light to hike customers' bills by $50 a month. PG&E, which serves 5.5 million bill payers across California. Also, $834 million to the state of Texas by their provider Encore. All of these utility giants are saying the same thing, just like NIPSCO told us. These bill increases will go towards repairing damaged infrastructure, which is being battered by the effects of climate change, and we got to do this to repair our infrastructure. Okay? Now, the customer advocates are arguing that the electricity demands of artificial intelligence and all of the data centers are being billed to us, the American public, instead of the corporations that are getting rich off of all of this. Do you understand why the rich keep getting richer while the rest of us get poorer now? They have spent decades post-Ronald Reagan collecting all the money and spreading out all of the losses and all of the cost to us, in every single facet of our lives. That's why we're seeing shrinkflation in every single facet of our life. I mean, if you buy a bar of soap, it's going to be a much smaller bar of soap than you used to buy. You eat a candy bar, it's going to be much smaller. Snickers are going to be smaller than they used to be, and they're going to cost more. Everything in our society costs more. We get less or a lower quality product of it, while at the same time, the super rich, the elites, are getting richer than any people have ever been. This is why I did that first segment. Again, if Democrats don't jump on this, then you better believe if the right is able to articulate, the Republicans are able to articulate the type of rage that is coming from rolling blackouts and astronomical electricity rates, while at the same time you get blackouts, if they're able to say, why are we doing this? Why are we sending money to Ukraine and Israel? Why are we allowing the rich to get richer? Why are we measuring how America's economy is doing by GDP instead of whether or not 28-year-olds can buy a house and get married and have children? My God. Areas like this that are Democratic run are going to be in for a world of hurt. This is why we need our politicians to talk about this. Before we go to a break, I wanted to play this. This is going to be a pretty long video, so you might want to, sit down and pay attention. This is from our friends at A More Perfect Union. I thought this was a very poignant video because they're talking to people who live right by the massive data centers that Facebook is building, and they're going in depth with the type of issues that these people are dealing with. This is from a perfect union. Let me see, A More Perfect Union. I live 400 miles from Mark Zuckerberg's massive data center. You might want to pay attention to what they are saying because this could be our future here in Northwest Indiana.
Our cold water pressure in the kitchen. This is where I fill up water for storage. Those are the things we have to fill up to flush the toilets.
So you can see the sediment from the data center. Wow, and that's just from the water coming out of your faucet.
Yeah, and this is what's in all the pipes.
Just the well itself is probably $20,000, and that's not counting any of the
all
faucets,
the replacement
yeah.
of the fixtures and
That's
faucets
just
and
the well.
toilets and the lines that come underneath the house. It's overwhelming because you really feel like you are up against this huge wall that you can't penetrate. There's nothing that you can do, and they don't care.
I'm here in Mansfield, Georgia, driving by Meta's new 2 million square foot data center facility. Facilities like this are being used to power things like ChatGPT and other AI tools that are becoming integrated into our daily life.
Data centers, going to be a very hot item.
This entire supercomputer is built to power Grok.
We see data centers as the most exciting asset class.
Meta is building a 2 gigawatt plus data center that is so large it would cover a significant part of Manhattan.
But data centers come with big costs, from light and noise pollution to the environmental impacts to the potential rising costs of energy bills. These facilities put extraordinary demand on the power grid and require entirely new infrastructure.
Oh my God.
They should be responsible for that, not us.
Search the internet for profits that Meta has made, Amazon, Microsoft. They can afford to pay for their own generation.
We came to Georgia to ask two questions. What's the true cost of the AI revolution, and who should be paying for it? Your house is here, and the data center's right there.
It's less than 400 yards.
Beverly and Jeff Morris bought their home an hour's drive from downtown Atlanta in 2016. but their roots in the community run much deeper.
Being in the country has always just been my peace and my therapy. When we found this place, we decided that this was it. It was perfect.
I was actually raised probably 5 miles from here. Felt like coming home.
The data center that's now the Morris' next-door neighbor happens to be owned by Meta, the company you know for Facebook and Instagram, but has also been breaking into artificial intelligence. They started construction on this data center campus in 2018.
Definitely changed everything. They destroyed the environment, taken down all the trees across the road.
Beautiful pines, beautiful forest.
The light pollution is...
We don't have to have a night light in the house. You can walk around the house at night and see everything. It's that bright.
This is a video of the dust from Facebook where the construction was. What it looks like right now out my front door. The wind blowing in all of this stuff from across the construction, across the road.
This is all from Meta.
Yeah, I was standing on my front porch. I think eventually that affected our well water. We're on a well here, and we started having issues with our well in 2018. I have to replace the hot water heater. I've replaced 2 washing machines and a dishwasher because of the sediment that's coming in.
A lot of what the Morrises are facing is from the polluting effects of this massive construction, but that's only one part of the story. There are serious costs to communities once data centers are operational too. To explain that, we have to back up for a second. I wouldn't blame you if you were asking yourself, what the heck is a data center anyway? Their origins date back to early, clunky supercomputers or mainframes in the 1950s and 60s. And then in the 90s, with the birth of the internet, the modern data center was born as a way for internet providers to connect businesses and the world to the web. In the 2010s, data centers became larger as they became critical to new cloud storage.
To the cloud. With the cloud, we share a sync folder that allows us to all work on the same documents.
Everything from your pet photos to entire workplaces to files for video streaming, like this video you're watching right now. We're in the cloud. Today, we are in the midst of a tectonic shift in processing needs, as large as the birth of the internet. Artificial intelligence.
A transformational moment for data center demand.
But the thing is, AI processing demands are much larger. One report showed that a Google search using a ChatGPT-like AI feature used 30 times as much power as a normal Google search. In the next 3 years, data center use of electricity is expected to double or even triple. And the state of Georgia has the fastest data center growth in the entire country.
The 2 biggest reasons data centers come to Georgia are that electricity rates for industrials, which is the class that they're in, are 42% below the national average. And the second biggest one are data center tax breaks. They received over $180 million in tax breaks last year.
The week we were in Georgia, a showdown was happening at the state capitol over 2 bills tied to data centers.
Senator Hofstadter had proposed 2 different bills, and one of them was SB 34, which was the data centers bill, to move the burden of the operational costs of data centers from ratepayers to the data centers themselves.
And what is SB 94?
That is the Consumer Utility Council, a legal advocate for ratepayers and small businesses.
Bills like these are the result of mounting residential anger and the work of dedicated advocates across the state. Like Diana Dietz, who lives 50 miles away from the Capitol in Fayette County.
This is a huge industrial project plopped in a residential area. This was the original plan, 122 acres. And then the Development Authority got involved.
In 2022, officials in Fayette County voted to annex and rezone an additional 412 acres for a data center campus. Fayetteville's City Council voted 5-0 in favor of the development, despite passionate opposition from some local residents. The site was then purchased by QTS, which is owned by Blackstone, for $153.8 million.
These speculators, investors, are secretly buying up land right next to homeowners. And it was all done so that when we all went to the 4 public hearings between the county and the city, it was a done deal. This is the one that's currently under construction, and this is where Gene and Joe are.
Gene and Joe Marshall live on the edge of Fayetteville in Fayette County on an 8-acre property.
This driveway is almost the line for Fayette County versus Fayetteville, where QTS's property is located. We have absolutely no say in anything that happens over here.
Despite their vocal opposition to the project, living next to construction on all sides of their home has become their daily reality for the last 2 years.
They do nightly pours over here, and in the back part at the other building, the lights are shining and there is noise. 2, 3 o'clock in the morning, 4 o'clock in the morning. So they don't stop. Oh yeah, sure.
We went to visit Nikki Vanderslice, who heads up the Fayette County Economic Development Authority, a non-governmental agency that played a central role in the marketing of the land for data center development. For residents who live alongside these data centers, life has become very difficult. What do you say to them?
Well, I say to them that there's a couple of things. One, we were very transparent. The Development Authority was very open about attracting a data center, and there wasn't any resistance until it came to their property specifically.
Vanderslice says data centers are good for the community, even if some don't see the benefits yet.
In 2021, that property paid $36,000 in property taxes total. In 2024, on raw land, it paid $1.13 million in property taxes. That contributed $760,000 to our local Board of Education. I'm apologetic that they're being impacted, but I also see the benefits of what the companies are doing and how they're improving our economy. And so there's the balance that when you have, 200 out of 120,000 people, that you have to balance what's the highest and best use for the whole of the community.
It's just the height of selfishness to imagine that one county's benefit to the huge detriment of 158 other counties in Georgia that now have to pay higher electric bills is okay. It's not okay. It drives inequity. It's very immoral too.
That's Patty Durand, and as you can tell, she does not agree with Nikki Vanderslice. Patty is a longtime consumer advocate and expert on energy policy who's been raising the alarm about rising costs of electricity related to data centers. Are data centers going to drive up energy costs for residents across the state?
On May 1st, Georgia Power residential ratepayers experienced a 24% rate increase. Just since 2023, Georgia Power has raised rates 6 times.
And related to those rate hikes, remember those 2 bills we mentioned earlier? We were with Patty as she was watching a live feed of the Senate floor.
Today is crossover day, which means any bill that does not get through one side of the House or the Senate to the other side is dead for the year. And right now, Senate Bill 34 is not on that list.
By later that evening, both bills had failed to get a vote. As disappointed and angry as Patty was, she wasn't too surprised.
Georgia legislators are getting soaked with money from Georgia Power.
Is that a conflict of interest?
Absolutely. It is clearly corrupting. This is the highest paid utility CEOs in the country. Why is the poorest region in the country paying the most to our CEOs?
$23 million, $33 million.
It's ridiculous how much money they make.
Our time in Georgia is crucial to understanding what's happening all across the country because the growth of data centers is not slowing down anytime soon. And tech billionaires have already been complaining about the amount of red tape involved in powering this growth.
Getting energy permitted is like a very heavily regulated government function. And if you're talking about building large new power plants or large build outs, that is just a heavily regulated thing.
The regulatory body in question is the Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, also known as FERC, an independent and historically nonpartisan agency that regulates interstate transmission of electricity, natural gas, and oil. But just last month, President Trump signed an executive order placing FERC under White House control. And he's been boasting about his ability to fast-track new projects.
We're going to get very rapid approvals in the United States. Like with the AI plans, under emergency declaration, I can get the approvals done myself without having to go through years of waiting.
With this alliance between the federal government, Silicon Valley, and utility monopolies, who's looking out for regular Americans like the Morrises?
During the peak season, our electric bill was maybe $250. Yeah. And now it's probably $400.
Your electricity bill has doubled. Wow.
It's been a struggle.
Every month it's a struggle. Jeff would like to retire, but he keeps working because we have to pay our bills.
Do you think that people should have to pay more because of data centers?
No, absolutely not. They should pay for that difference. It's hard enough for a regular person to pay their electric bill as it is. I don't think that's right at all.
We reached out to the big tech companies, including Meta and QTS, asking for an interview and a tour of their facilities, but both declined to participate in the story. Duran says despite the bill's failure, the fight will go on. A number of other states have similar bills up for debate right now.
The reason I think other states should pass it, whether we do or not, is that data centers could possibly come to their state next. There needs to be legislation to protect them because by all accounts, data center growth is going to be very fast.
Before you go, please support our work by liking this video and subscribing to our channel. We're always looking to tell more stories like this one, unpacking economic systems.
All right, that was from our friends over at More Perfect Union, talking about the effects of having data centers in your backyard. Again, I'm not saying you should or should not agree to it. I'm just saying know what you're getting into. Know that your bills are going to keep going up. Your electric bills are probably going to keep going up, and that a lot of resources are going to be used to make these things happen. We live in a society now that, you know, the elites, the billionaire class, get to again reap all the benefits of all of the gains while they push off all of the losses to us. And so again, we have to be careful about who we allow to do business in our communities. When we come back, happy Abbeys! Please stay with us here on WLTH 1370M. The region's choice, the people's voice.